I'm going to talk about what will be the future food global demand, and so what the agriculture could do to improve and increase those production. The global population is supposed to reach 1 billion people by 2050 and 11 billion people by 2100. And so, of course, the demand for food, especially for cereal, fruit and meat, is supposed to increase. And so agriculture has to increase the production to feed all these people. But even now, as it is, the agriculture already has a lot of externalities. We can define externalities as a product or decision that costs the society more than its private cost. Those negative externalities have effects on environment and people. Is to increase the production by extensification or intensification. Extensification, it means to clear more land for agricultural purposes, while intensification, it means increase the production, reaching higher yields through increased inputs, improved agronomic practices, and the use of more productive crop varieties. So what can we do to improve this productivity without increasing those externalities? We can use the so-called sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture has the objective to increase, to satisfy what are the needs of the current population without reducing the possibility for the future population to be fed. So what we want to do is to promote the soil health, without stealing all the nutrients from the soil, minimize the water use and the pollution levels, and improve the farm worker well-being. By the way, sustainable agriculture has always been considered as not effective enough to feed all the population. But on the opposite side, we have the intensive agriculture that has many negative aspects. The first of which is the loss of biodiversity. Even if we have still 50,000 edible plants in the world, more than half of the world's food comes from only 3 of them, that are rice, corn and wheat. And reducing the number of plants that we breed, we not only we reduce the biodiversity, but also create damage for human health. And so the best solution is the diversification of crops, considering what are the monoculture disadvantages. The first of which is the major sensitivity to pests. We can consider, for example, the Great Famine in Ireland in the 19th century due to the potato bleach. Then the autotoxicity, because many plants release in the soil substances that are toxic to themselves. The selective nutrient intake, for example, there are some crops such as cereals that are considered as strong takers of substances from the soil, and also, as we said, the loss of many different species. So what can we do is to create some cultivars, the characteristics, agronomic and physiological, that could be transmitted to the next generation to cultivate them. They has to be well adapted to the area, able to perform and well suited to the intended level of management. There are different ways in which we can produce those cultivars, but we can group them in phenotypic and genotypic methods. There are also some substances that we can use to improve the plant's yield without creating negative externalities to the environment, such, for example, biostimulants that are derived from plants and algae that could be used to make them more productive and reduce their susceptibility to the environmental adversities. The most important thing is to make the agriculture more productive and sustainable. And there is a policy in Europe that its main objective is to make this. It was launched in 1962, and actually around 60% of the money coming from the European Union are used for this objective, to make the agriculture more sustainable and to help improve the farmers all along European Unions to make it effective.